Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming with Season 2 Reloaded this week in MW2 Warzone 2 and DMZ, we are of course going to see a massive new weapons update. This is something that happens with every single seasonal update and every single mid-season update. We get some new weapons to actually play around with in game, but then we also see updates to a lot of the other weapons as well in the form of various buffs and nerfs to balance things out and adjust them accordingly. And today we are breaking down all the known information we have on this new weapons update, as well as a bit of preview and guesstimations, if you will, as to what changes we could possibly see this week as well. Let's start first though with the main component of this weapons update, which of course is the brand new weapon. We do have one more ranged weapon dropping for Season 2, and that is the Tempus Torrent. This is going to be a brand new marksman rifle. This is very similar to like the SR25, if you will, as a good general comparison there. And we actually already have a good amount of details here on this weapon based off of the recent Call of Duty blogs. So let's learn a little bit more about the Tempus Torrent, shall we? They say Season 2 Reloaded brings a brand new marksman rifle to the table, the Tempus Torrent. I'm not sure why they can't just call it the SR25 or whatever else, but hey, here we are. This weapon offers impressive damage and a fast firing mechanism, making it a great primary weapon choice when deploying to the new Himmelmatt Expo multiplayer map or to Ashika Islands. This hard-hitting DMR from the Tempus armament offers the versatility of the M4 platform and the velocity and impact of 7.62 rounds. A patient hand and keen eye will result in on-target shots and quick kills. So essentially, this is going to be a very powerful weapon, but it might not have the best TTK if you're not able to land your shots. Really just similar to pretty much every other semi-auto weapon in the game, right? They continue by saying with a base capacity of 20 rounds, you can afford to utilize its fast fire rate in the heat of battle, aka you could actually use this like close to mid-range and spam it because that faster fire rate will allow you to do so. Its recoil, though predictable, requires a steady hand with a quick but noticeable kick up and to the left. So we also already have the recoil pattern for it as well. Like the KV Broadside released earlier in Season 2, the Tempus Torrent has a unique property of being a new weapon on an existing platform from the MW2 launch. That means most attachments that were unlocked for the M4 platform can be used on this weapon, so be sure to unlock everything from that platform to ensure maximum versatility when the Tempus Torrent becomes available. Now, why is this important? Well, this means as you're leveling it up from level 1, you're probably going to be able to equip several attachments on it already if you've gone through and actually leveled up various M4 weapon platform guns, like the Hurricane, like the Icarus, like the M4 itself. So it's going to share a lot of similar attachments to that and probably bring maybe 4 or 5 new attachments that you can use either across the board as universal attachments or some M4 specific ones as well. So this is not going to be a completely new weapon in terms of what you unlock as you level it up. It'll be a lot of shared attachments with guns you already have unlocked. They also say the Tempus Torrent is typically a 2-shot elimination unless you can land a headshot up through the mid-range. Try pairing it with a short-range weapon, a sidearm, or an SMG using overkill for approaching tight areas like the event center. That's obviously in regards to multiplayer, by the way. In terms of its 2-shot properties, that's going to be different for Warzone with the armor. Now, to round out the description of the Tempus Torrent, here we also get the unlock challenge for it, which usually we don't see up until the time that the weapon drops, so definitely cool here. Now, in order to unlock the Tempus Torrent for free, you need to get 25 double kills with marksman rifles. This can be done in Warzone, multiplayer, or DMZ. Quite frankly, it's going to be the easiest to do it in multiplayer if you can play some of the small maps like Shipment, like Farm 18, like Shoot House. Double kills are going to come pretty naturally at that point. We'll have to see what our playlist offering is for Season 2 Reloaded. Hopefully, we have some kind of mosh pit that features those. But yeah, it's going to be a free multiplayer weekend, so that should help out some in regards to accessing multiplayer, getting those challenges done real quick so you can actually unlock this in a pretty short amount of time. 25 double kills, not really too challenging. For what it's worth, there will also be a store bundle for the Tempus Torrent as well. That obviously will probably run for like 2,400 COD points and unlock that blueprint-specific version of the weapon if you want to go about it that way. Now, as we get into some of our other weapon update conversation here with weapon adjustments, balancing, buffs, and nerfs, and all that stuff, quick reminder, if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you're up to date with absolutely everything going on in the world of COD. And if you guys enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Would be seriously appreciated. But per usual with the mid-season update as well as all the seasonal launch updates, we are going to be seeing some new weapon balancing, some new weapon tuning. Not in regards to physical weapon tuning where you adjust the attachments, but to the damage properties, to the range properties, multipliers, all sorts of stuff like that to various weapons, either to buff them and make them more competitive or to nerf them and bring them back more in line with some of the other more balanced out weapons in the game. Now, as of right now, we have one specific major tuning update that's already been confirmed. We, of course, talked about this one a few days back. Infinity Ward posted this tweet here saying, Season 2 Reloaded will include several global weapon balances, including a damage reduction to the KV Broadside and the Dragon's Breath rounds. Our full patch notes with these changes will be available on the 15th. So, this is our first official confirmation for what weapons are going to be buffed or nerfed. In this case, the KV Broadside is going to be getting a damage reduction, so it's not going to hit nearly as hard, and likely is going to be joining the other shotguns in the game right now, where for the most part they're relatively obsolete. They're kind of tricky to balance as is. They're either super strong up close and broken to the point where nothing beats a shotgun, or they're just getting too many hit markers and not worth using, which kind of is the case for a lot of them right now. But regardless, we know the KV Broadside is going to be receiving a damage nerf with Season 2 Reloaded, and on top of that, the Dragon's Breath rounds are also going to be receiving some nerfs, and this is important for a handful of reasons because this affects every gun that the Dragon's Breath can be applied to, primarily the shotguns, of course. It's going to become a lot more, useless, hopefully not to the point where it's completely not worth using, but just not nearly as good as it is now in terms of like the burn effects and everything that it can do to potentially cause a one-shot knock or those other inadvertent effects that for the most part the devs are trying to stay away from for the time being. So overall, some pretty important nerfs there. The KV Broadside with the fire rounds and the 25 round drum, probably the most broken gun in the game right now, so that will be receiving a nerf, we know that for sure. Outside of that, the other weapon buffs and nerfs and adjustments are kind of up in the air. They haven't confirmed anything outside of that, unfortunately, but we know for a fact several global weapon balances are coming, as Infinity Ward alluded to in that. One change that we should see, not necessarily right at launch for Season 2 Reloaded, but perhaps shortly afterwards, is a change to the sniper meta in the form of a brand new limited time mode. Again, we've talked about this one a bit before, but the devs did confirm in the last time that I was able to sit in on a call with them that they are going to be testing out a one-shot sniper mode for Warzone 2. Obviously, snipers up until this point have not been able to get a one-shot down unless, of course, you used the incendiary rounds for a very brief amount of time. They fixed that one super quick, naturally, but one-shot snipers are coming to the game at some point. They didn't say when this LTM would be going live, but it'll be a specific mode where snipers will have the capability to one-shot knock or one-shot down in that game mode only. In core battle royale, they won't be. In core resurgence, they won't be one-shot knocks, but this will be a good test to see if players actually enjoy the element of one-shot snipers, or if it's something that should remain the same where they are pretty much all two shots depending on where you land the shot on that specific enemy. So at some point in the coming weeks, snipers will be changing, but again, just for that specific mode, and then they'll make their decision based, in the long term around that mode's success or failure. We'll have to see how it goes, really, to see if snipers are going to be a viable thing this year or if they're going to remain how they are now. Outside of that, when it comes to the other weapon buffs, weapon nerfs, again, they haven't said anything directly here. If we look at the overall meta, for the most part, things are relatively well balanced. There's a couple of weapons that maybe could see some nerfs. I'd be looking at potentially the RAL. They tried to nerf the recoil with it in the last update, and it's still an absolute beast for long range. It has the best long range TTK, and nothing in particular comes close, right? So maybe there are some changes to that to balance out the long range meta some. The Hemlock, even though it is brand new, is far and away the number one rifle right now because it's so low recoil and its TTK is so consistent over range. So maybe those get nerfed, but really, I'd like to see some buffs with this update in particular. A few weapons in specific I feel like are super underutilized right now. The M16 is still just garbage. Most rifles right now are relatively competitive, and then the M16 is there and it's just not worth running at all. Same deal with the SMGs, another super popular category that for the most part is hyper competitive, as we've talked about recently, but the BAS P in specific is very far behind everything else. So maybe we see some buffs there. Again, we'll have the full details on all the patch notes, all the weapon changes when those drop on Wednesday. So we'll be covering them right as they are released. Stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. But that is effectively going to wrap things up for today. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.